I'm going to show you a free and easy way to visualize your new kitchen or make changes to your current one. Hey, I'm Mark. I'm a 25-year kitchen design professional turned YouTuber in an effort to help you design more functional kitchens. You may not be ready to start working with a kitchen designer, or you're not happy with the one you're currently working with, and you want to take matters into your own hands and figure out the absolute best design for your kitchen. What I want to show you today is a really great solution to do that. Simply go to cabinets.com and sign up for a free account. It's absolutely free. There's no strings attached. You don't have to purchase their cabinets. You can just use their tool multiple times over and over again. I'm not sponsored by them, but I absolutely love this tool and I use it quite frequently with online design clients with one-on-one consultations. Here we're on cabinets.com. Go to kitchen design, create a kitchen tool, click that, and you'll be able to do a guided design or a blank slate. We're going to do a blank slate. And you have a selection of options here. You can choose a traditional framed, full access frameless, or European full access frameless. And since I'm a Canadian, I'm going to go with the European full access. The reason I like this one is because it has a few more options for cabinet sizes. You can pick any of these. It's going to ask me if I want a closed kitchen, has 3 options here, or an open kitchen. I always just use a closed kitchen because I can modify this as much as I want later on. So this is the quick and easiest way to do it. Now for this video, I'm going to design my kitchen in my own home here, just to show you how easy this is. And then we'll make changes to that design to see like what you can do and how easy it is to make changes using this tool. It's a really great visualization tool to use when designing a kitchen. Super easy to use. I'm going to go through all the features so you'll know exactly what to do. The first thing you want to do is make your floor plan on your screen match the floor plan that you measured. So what I'm going to do is that exactly. My kitchen is 15 feet by 8 feet, meaning that this needs to be 180 inches. You can apply this to the left or to the right. In this design, it doesn't matter because it's just a square. And here, I actually want to show more than just my kitchen, so I'm going to click on this wall and hit split. And this allows you to move these walls around to create different dimensions of your kitchen. So my kitchen has this kind of shape to it, and I'm going to just modify all these by dragging them. Now, the only 2 measurements that really matter are this dimension and this dimension, because that's where my kitchen fits, so that's where I want to have the most accurate measurements. This dimension is 180 inches, and now I'm going to apply it to the left. It'll bring that in. And this dimension, including a doorway, is 10 feet, so I'm going to make that 10 feet. And I'm going to apply that below, and you can see it changes that to 10 feet and 15 feet, 180 inches and 120 inches. This stuff doesn't really matter. This is my living room. I can make that whatever I want. And I have a hallway, so I'm going to split this and make this like that. That's basically what my house looks like. And this wall is only 8 feet, so I'm going to make that change, make that 96 inches, and I'm going to apply it above so that it creates this shape of my kitchen. So now the place I'm concentrating in is this little nook here where my kitchen is actually housed, and there's a doorway on this wall. So I'm going to put that doorway in by hitting an opening, and you can go to single doors, double doors, openings is what I want to do here. And you can just click and drag the opening. Now this opening is 32 inches, so you actually can click on the opening itself, hit 32 or whatever your opening size is. And I want to make sure that there's 8 feet here, meaning that I probably don't have the exact measurements because I'm going off my memory. So this wall is probably more than 10 feet, so I'm going to drag it out a little bit because the main thing I want to make sure is that I have 9 feet right here, 8 feet rather, right here on this side. So I'm going to make that 96 inches, 8 feet exactly. And in my kitchen, I have a little pony wall right here, a little return wall. So I'm actually going to add that, show you how to do that. So I'm going to move this doorway. You can go to draw plan. You can add a wall, and you just click where you want to add the wall. It snapped it right into 96 inches, and I can just do that. And this wall is approximately 24 inches. I'll drag it to there, and then I just hit validate, and it puts that wall in for me. Now I can change the width of this to 24 exactly, apply it to the left, and it'll make that wall 24 inches. This wall is 90 inches, and I want it to be 96. So I hit 96. This just helps you get everything exactly the way you need it. Now this is looking pretty much like what my kitchen looks like. Now I want to add a window. So you hit openings and go to single window or double window, whatever kind of window you have, you can add it here. I have just a basic window like this. My window is 42 inches wide, including the trim. So I'm going to add that like that by just selecting that size. You can also click on the window, hit edit, and change its dimension here. You can change its width, you can change its height, and you can change its height from the floor, which you may need to do. My window is 42 inches from the floor, so you can change that dimension there. Hit X to get out of the menu, and then you can change its position on the wall by either sliding and dragging the window itself, like this, or just selecting that measurement and putting in the measurement that you measured. I may go back and change this later, and that's super easy to do later on. It doesn't really matter. So you have your basic kitchen layout, and this is going to get you now putting cabinets into the floor plan and designing your kitchen. There's other things you can add. Maybe you have a chimney or some immovable object. You have a post or something that you have to display in this kitchen, or maybe you have a wall in the middle of your room somewhere that you need to add. So again, you can go to draw on a plan. You can add a room separation. You can manage your slope ceilings. We're not going to do any of that right now, but you may need to add a wall somewhere. And let's just say you had a wall here. So you can just click, drag your wall, hit validate, and it puts that wall in for you. You can change where that wall is located. You can change its width, and of course, you can delete it. Very simple, easy to do. This will get your floor plan looking like what you actually have in your home, and that's the first step to getting this done right. Now we have room objects. We have free shapes such as these posts, different size posts and blocks. This one is quite useful, a free shape. It just gives you a rectangular prism that you can manipulate. And if you select, you can see here I just placed it in the room. If you hit 3D, it'll show you this kitchen in 3D, which is really the cool feature here in a minute that we'll look at. And you can make this whatever size you want. You can stack these on top of one another. You can make stairs out of these. There's all kinds of different options for this little block. But say you have some immovable object, like a chimney, that you need to put in, and you can do it right here. For us, I don't have anything. I'm going to delete that. But now, since we're in 3D, we'll stay in 3D for the remainder of this, and we'll switch back and forth a little bit from the floor plan view to the 3D version, because it'll help you see different things and manipulate different things different ways. These directional arrows just allow you to move around the viewpoint of your kitchen. Just leave it somewhere in so you can kind of see everything, but you can get different views depending on where you put it. And now I want to add cabinets. So in order to add cabinetry, we go to design your kitchen. Then you have a menu of cabinets, appliances, home accessories, kitchen accessories. Really, we just really want these two, cabinets and appliances. You can see here it has their catalog of the cabinets that they will sell you. Now, you don't have to buy these cabinets, obviously, to use this program, but they have a pretty good variety of options that most other companies would have as well. So if you're using this to design your kitchen and you take this to Home Depot or Lowe's or even a custom cabinet shop, you will be able to find the cabinet sizes that you've put on your floor plan. Unless you go to IKEA, then just use their floor planner because it uses their cabinets. So otherwise, this is a really great tool for everything else other than IKEA. First thing we wanted to put in is a sink base. So you can go to your sink base options. There's a ton to choose from. How do you know which one to put in? The thing I like to use is filters. Go to the width of the cabinet that you want to select. And I want a 36-inch sink base, as it's the most common sink base you're going to find. Hit that, it'll give you three options, one for a farm sink, a regular sink base, and one for these little tilt-out things. I just want a regular sink base in this, so I can either click it and it'll put it in the floor plan for me, or I can click and drag it into the floor plan. Either way works. You can move this around pretty easily after the fact. I'll delete this one by hitting delete on the menu option. When you put it on the wall, it normally will snap into place in the center of a window, which is a really good feature because that's normally where your sink is located. So if we put that and it'll snap to offset too. So it's easy to snap into place, and that is very helpful. You can go to your 2D view here, your floor plan view, and you can see that that window and sink are centered. Now the next thing I want to do is put in my corner solution, and in my kitchen I have a blocked off corner. So I'm going to go to cabinets, over to accessories. You can see all the different accessories that you can use here, and I want to get a filler. And if I go to filters and hit type, it'll give me all the different types of fillers that I can use, and I want a corner base filler. This will give me a corner filler that I can manipulate the size of, and I'm just going to click and drag that and put it into the plan. Now you can see it's not positioned in the right way, so you click this little turn thing here. I don't know what you call that, but you can turn it. Very simple to do. So now I have my corner filler, which is what I want. I don't like corner cabinets, so I'm going to block it off. And if I select it and hit edit, I'll be able to change its dimensions. Now it's already a 90-degree angle, which is great. It's 24 inches deep, which is what I want. And it's 3 inch by 3 inch, which is exactly what I need it to be. So I'm not going to change it, but you could just change any of these dimensions. And you can also change the worktop on it. You can also change the toe kick color, but it matches the kitchen cabinets. So you leave all that. We have the start of our kitchen. Now in my kitchen, I only have a 12-inch cabinet here, meaning I got to move this window and move this sink base. I'm going to show you how to do that. But first, I'm going to put in a full base door cabinet. It's 12 inches wide, so go to width, 12 inches wide, select it, and you can drag it into place. Now the only downfall of this program is that it does not allow you to change the position of the handles from left to right. So you're going to have to just deal with that. Otherwise, that's the only hiccup with this program. IKEA's lets you do that, so it's a little better in that regard, but it doesn't have all the cabinet sizes that most places have. So now I'm going to just adjust my cabinets to fit exactly what they are, and I got to change my window. So I will go back to floor plan, and since I'm in this overhead view, I can zoom right in and just slide this window so that it lines up with my sink. Go back to design your kitchen, and you can start adding in more cabinets. Now to the left of my sink, I have a dishwasher. So I'm going to go to appliances, and it gives you the list of appliances you can use. I have a 24-inch dishwasher. It only has two options, an 18 and a 24, which is the standard option. So yes, it doesn't have every dishwasher style and type in the world, but really for designing a kitchen, all you need is the width. So just put in the width that you need. It's going to be 24 inches. For most of you, this is going to be what you're going to need. And next to that, I have an 18-inch cabinet, so I'm going to throw that in. It's a drawer bank, so I'm going to go to drawer bases, and I'm going to go to my filter and hit width, go to 18. It's going to give me a 2, a 3, or a 4, and I have a 4 drawer, so I'm just going to click and drag that onto the floor plan and slide it into place. Next to this, I have a fridge, so let's go in and just put the fridge in first. It gives you all the standard options for fridges. If you have something that's really elaborate, obviously this is going to be the case. But for most of you, you'll either have probably a 30, 33, or 36-inch fridge. But some of you have smaller fridges. And if that's the case, the best thing to do is just put a 24-inch pantry in place of that fridge in terms of just, this is where the fridge is going to be placed for spacing-wise. Obviously, this is not to give you the full interior design look of your kitchen. This is used to design function and look at the floor plan options. So if you don't have the exact fridge model, it doesn't really matter. There's still ways around it. So I'll just go with a pretty standard fridge, 36 inches. You might be already thinking, I don't want to do any of this. So if that's the case, there's a link in the description below where you can connect with my design team, and we'll design you a fully functional kitchen, 3D renderings that are super high quality, all the bells and whistles that you're going to need to have a full renovation. You'll have personal one-on-one with my designer. You can connect with me if you need to. There's lots of options there in order to get a really well done floor plan, lighting plan, accessory list, interior design suggestions, the whole bit. It's all in there. There's a link in the description below. But if you're like, I'd like to tackle this myself and get some ideas, then keep watching. Now we have cabinet return panel. So we want to put a fridge panel. I think every fridge should have a fridge panel, so don't do it without it. Go to filters, go to height that you want. I want mine to be 90 inches. I need a right return panel, so I'm going to put my right fridge panel in here. It pretty much snaps into place. It'll also snap where you don't want it to, like over this way into the cabinet. So you gotta make sure you put it right where you need it. And then above this, I want a fridge cabinet. So go to cabinets, wall cabinets, refrigerator walls. Again, go to filters, pick your width. That's going to be the easiest thing, 36-inch wide, and it'll give you these heights. You get 15, 12s, 18s, 21s. Let's go with an 18. I'm going to click it and drag it, and it'll snap it right into place. It couldn't get any easier than this. I don't think there's a better way to design a kitchen, like quick and on the fly than this. I mean, super, super simple. Now I can slide my fridge back into its actual position. And then let's say I don't know what this distance is and I want to figure out what cabinet to put there. I can select the cabinet and hit position. And it'll tell me that cabinet's position from the different walls. From the fridge, it's 7/8 of an inch. From this wall, it's 118. It's 6 inches from the ceiling, and it's 25.5 to this wall. So now I know what size pantry to look for in my pantry menu options. Click anywhere else, and then I'll get rid of that. And I can go to cabinets, and I can go to drawer pantries or shelf pantries. And again, I'm going to pick the height because I want it to be 90 inches. And I can pick the width, and I want it to be 24 inches. So I click on that, put it into the space. It'll automatically add a filler to the left, which is good. You're going to need a filler there anyway. And now I have pretty much all the base and tall cabinets on this wall that I need. And it's starting to look like a kitchen. Now I do have a wall cabinet here, and I'm going to add that. So you can go in and add a standard wall cabinet. Again, if you know the height and the width is the main thing. I want it to be 36 inches because if you have 90-inch tall cabinets, 36-inch high wall cabinets are going to line those up on the top at the same height, which is what you want. So I'm going to go with a 36. If you had 84-inch tall cabinets, then a 30-inch cabinet is going to line it up on the top. And if you had a 94-inch cabinet, then a 40-inch cabinet is going to line it up on the top. You can play around with this, but you get the gist of it. And you can go to width, and I'm going to go with a 36 and slide that right into place. Already snaps it to the right height. It's right where I want it to be. And if you want to get fancy, you can hit open and it'll open the door. You can see that to see how things kind of open against each other, which is a great feature. On this side, I have a blocked off wall corner as well. How dare I? So again, go to your fillers and go to your filters, hit type, and I have a corner wall. They only give you one option, which is helpful. Put that in place. Rotate it, the rotation icon there. It'll snap that, and now it's not at the right height or the right size, so I can adjust that by clicking on it, hitting edit. I can change all these different things. I want the height to be 36 because that's what my wall cabinet heights are. It's depth 12, that's all good. Everything else is fine, 3 inches, 3 inches. None of these things really matter right now. So now I have a 36-inch, and I can adjust its height later on once I snap in the cabinets. Now the next thing I should add is my range. So I'm going to go to range cookers and go to my filters. I have a 30-inch range. There you go. And mine's a slide in like one of these type. So I'm just going to select that because again, I'm not doing this for style purposes. I'm not trying to design something that necessarily looks good. I want it to function first. And this will be close enough to get it there. And this is what we really want. Now in my kitchen to the left, I have a 12-inch cabinet. So I could do one of two things. I could just duplicate this 12-inch by hitting duplicate, and it'll just actually put it in that place for me. Or I can go back to the menu, select a cabinet that's 12 inches, and use it that way. Now above my cooktop, I have a vent hood. So again, go to your appliances. You can find your hoods. Go to filters, go to width. Mine is a 30, gives you 29, so that's fine. And you can click and drag, find the one you want. This is a wall hood, stainless width, 30-inch. Click and drag right on the floor plan. And these you can adjust. The height, I'm going to adjust mine to 30 inches so that it's the correct height off of the top of the surface. And there you go, just puts it into place. You can kind of move it. Should snap it right into place like that. And now you want to know what this distance is. Again, click on the appliance, hit position, and it'll tell you have 27 inches to the wall. I am going to use a 24-inch drawer bank in this case. So I go to my drawer banks, add filter, go to width, 24. I'm going to put in a 3 drawer, put it in, adds the filler, done. Super easy. Now you can see this is starting to shape up quite nicely. Now I'm going to go to cabinets, standard wall cabinets, and maybe you don't know what these dimensions are right here. Click on the filler, hit position, it'll tell you the distance to the range hood, and I'm just going to put in a 24-inch cabinet. So go to cabinets, I have a standard wall cabinet. Now remember the width is 24, and my height, I just need it to be 36. It makes it 36 1/8, so that's fine. You can click and you can put it on the floor plan like this. If you click, move it around enough, it'll snap into position. However, if you don't, you can just put it in the floor plan like this and then just move it. And it'll usually just snap right into place for you. Now in my kitchen, I don't want to have this exposed end like that. So you can click on the cabinet in this case. This is just to make it look a little bit nicer, I guess. And you can hit left or right panel. You can do finished end. You can do a finished end panel. I'm just going to do finished end panel because I just want the color to match. I'm going to hit apply all, so it does it to all of them. And then on this one, and do a left panel, and we'll apply it to all the cabinets. So now they all have panels on them, everything is the same color. Now I can go in and change these colors. Maybe you just sick of white cabinets, you don't want to see white. So you can actually select the cabinet itself, hit edit, go to the style, and replace it. Maybe you want to do green. So you apply to all, now we have a green kitchen. Easy. And you're like, I don't like green. I want to go with this maple charcoal color. Apply all. Okay, perfect. But I don't want my wall cabinets to be that color. Fine. You can select the actual wall cabinet color by selecting it. Maybe you want it to be white, and you just hit apply instead of apply all, and it changes just that one cabinet. And then you can go around and change all of these cabinets to that white color. Just apply to the single cabinet itself. And now we have this simple two-tone cabinet. Very easy to do, very quick to do, and quite nice. If I was doing two-tone, which I don't have a two-tone, I would do it this way by doing the wall cabinets in the light color and all of just the base cabinets in the dark color. So I'll just change that real quick. Do the pantry the same. Now let's say you don't know what this distance is and you're trying to figure out what cabinet to select there. So again, hit your filler, hit position, and you'll notice it doesn't go to the window, it goes to the next cabinet. So in order to change this, you just select a little circle and you can click and drag it, and it'll snap to the end of that window telling you what that distance is. Now I'm going to put an 18-inch cabinet here, now that I know it's 21, right to the window. So I can go to my cabinets, go to my filters, find an 18-inch wide by 36-inch high, click and drag it into the space, and it'll add it just like that. So now I have a pretty much completed kitchen, and I have to add an island, which we'll add, and I'll show you how to do that. But this is so simple. Instead of just looking at a floor plan, which usually you're trying to figure out what exactly does this look like, this is a great way to do it. You can make changes easy. You can see how easy it is. You're just dragging and dropping things around. You can play with different pantry sizes. Maybe you want a bigger cabinet here and a smaller pantry, move the fridge over. You can make all these changes very easily. So let's say I do want to do that. We can delete this cabinet. We can delete this cabinet because we're going to make it bigger. And let's put in a cabinet pantry that is 18 inches wide. So we'll go to width, 18 inches wide, and we'll go to a 90-inch high. We'll put that cabinet in on the floor, and you can drag it into place just like we did before. Move your fridge over, move your other cabinet over, move your fridge panel over, standard wall cabinet, filter, maybe go to a 42-inch cabinet, which most companies will have. Hit the size that you want, 36-inch high, throw that into place. That matches a whole lot better. And now we want to find out what size here we need. Go to position. We need a 24-inch cabinet, and we want a drawer bank. So we're going to go to drawers, and we're going to go to width, hit 24, and let's go with a 4-drawer bank, because I think every kitchen needs a 4-drawer bank for cutlery and oven mitts and trivets and gadgets and a junk drawer and whatever else. All right, so we made that change very simple. So now you have a way to look back and forth. Do I want a wider pantry, a narrower pantry? What's it going to give me? A little more counter space, maybe less storage. You can weigh those options out. And of course, we can change this easily to the style of the other base cabinets by just selecting it and applying it only. And of course, you have to go back and get the toe kick as well. There. So we made a simple change. Now we can go again. We could change the range. We could put the fridge over here. You can drag and move things around very easily. But this is starting to look like what my kitchen looks like, other than the color. And now I want to put in an island. So to do that, simple. You just find the cabinet you want. And let's say I want a drawer bank that's 30 inches wide, which is what I have. Go to 30, and I'm going to throw that in there. Puts it on the plan. I want to rotate it, so hit the rotation icon here, and you can just rotate it around. You'll notice it does not have a back on it. It's just a bare back, and that's fine for now. But if you want to change that, you go into Edit and go Back Panel, Add. You can add a 1/4 inch or a 3/4 inch. I'm going to add a 3/4 inch, and it does it. Simple. And then we're going to put 2 other cabinets. We'll do a drawer for trash. So let's see what they have. Pull-out bases. They don't call them trash bases. They call them pull-out bases, but they are for waste. So you collect the one you want. Let's do an 18. That's a pretty good size for a double trash bin. Let's go with that one. Put it on the floor plan. Rotate it. can also do this in the floor plan view like this. If you rather, you can do it that way. And then this allows you to see, if you hit position, where it is from the wall, where it is from here, gives you kind of this data. And let's say I want to put another drawer bank. I can just click it and hit duplicate, or duplicate, and it'll put it there, but I can just move it wherever I want it to. Now, let's check its position of that cabinet. Hit position, it's 31. So that's not where I want that to be because I need to have more clearance here. So I need to move the island. So in order to move the island, you select one cabinet, and then if you're using a Mac, you hit Command Select, or if you're on a PC, you hit Control Select, and it will select all the cabinets as one unit, and then you can just click and drag the whole thing around instead of cabinet by cabinet. And then you can adjust these measurements to where you want them. So now I have 41 and 34. So not perfect, but for the sake of showing you that, that's how you do it. And you can see all these different sizes. So now if I go back to my floor plan view, I can see my island. And this is really, if you look at some of my videos, this is what my kitchen looks like pretty much exactly except for the color. And this will now help me to decide, hey, do I want to have an overhang on this? Do I want to add anything here? Do I want to change this cabinet? This is a really great way to do it. Maybe you don't want to have an island. Maybe you want to have a peninsula. So maybe you want to join this to the wall here, which could be a cool idea of doing that. Maybe you can add another cabinet, duplicate it just for the sake of adding a cabinet. Maybe you're just curious of what this would look like and how this would function. And so you want to see it. Now, everything has to go through the range and the sink to get to the fridge, but you like this long peninsula, you look at it in 3D, you're like, well, it does look kind of neat, gives me a lot more counter space, but I don't like that it blocks off my fridge. And in this scenario, maybe you want to change the location of where that appliance is. So what I recommend you do is just hit save, and you can save this My Kitchen 1. Hit save. Then, instead of changing this design, go X out, go back to the home page of cabinets.com, and once you signed in under your account, you can go to your designs, My Designs. You click My Designs and you'll see, I use this quite a bit. I have pages of designs here that I use for clients during consultation calls, which you can book in the link down below. And I have My Kitchen 1. You just duplicate it, and you can do My Kitchen 2, and then you select My Kitchen 2. Now you have a copy of both. So you can make 100 copies of different options if you wanted to. I usually recommend 3 copies for a kitchen so that you can play around with different ideas. Now that I have copy number 2, now I can make some changes. I can start moving things around. Let's move the range. And let's move the fridge. So I'm going to move all these cabinets out of the way. We can delete the filler for now. And let's move the fridge cabinet over here. And let's move the fridge over here. Let's move the range to this location. And the range hood. All right, and we'll just get rid of these cabinets for now. So now we can go to our 3D and we're like, oh, okay, what's this going to look like if I have a range on this wall? Let's move our fridge panel over into position. And we want to see how much distance do I have here? So we hit position, we can click that. We have 31, perfect. So let's put in a 30-inch drawer bank. Let's go with a 2-drawer bank. So we'll go with 30 inches wide. We'll hit a 2-drawer, slap that right into place like so. So now my fridge is in a completely different location. I'm going to get rid of this cabinet, and let's see how much space we have there. We have 42, perfect. So let's just put in a 42-inch cabinet. The width will be 42, and its height, 36. Put it in there like so, and it's going to adjust it to that color. We'll just go to this one there. All right, so that was very easy to do, but now you can see, oh, now this is what my kitchen could look like if I move the fridge. Maybe I want to have this longer peninsula, and I don't have, in this case, maybe I want to keep the pantry, so I'm going to reduce the size of this cabinet. We'll get rid of this cabinet, and we can slide this over to the center a little more. And then we can add in some cabinets around the range. And let's see where the range is positioned so we can get an idea of the cabinets to use. An 18 and a 12 probably is what we're going to look for. So let's just move this cabinet over a little bit. Filters with, I'm going to 18. I want you to go and try this yourself. Like really, like get on cabinets.com, try it out, see what you think. Super easy to do. And now you have an idea of what would it look like if I change that around. And I still want to have a pantry and my fridge here. Maybe we're going to add some wall cabinets. So we'll kind of complete this a little bit with some more cabinets. And you easily have this visual that you can use to determine what the right choice is for you and how you want to lay out the kitchen. Now, this is not how my kitchen's laid out, but maybe I should have thought of this option. And so this is going to give me a way to do that. And I want to see how much space is to the right. So hit position, hit the little circle here, and you can change it. 34. I think what I'll do is put a 30-inch cabinet there, and we can see what it's going to look like. Because how else are you supposed to really know unless you kind of make some of these changes? And how do you make changes unless you have a tool to do that? So now your range is not going to be hindered by someone going to your fridge. Your kitchen is going to be inside here. All your work surfaces is going to be here. Your fridge is accessible from inside the kitchen and outside the kitchen. So maybe this would be a worthwhile choice to look at. Maybe I should have thought about that. I don't know. However, this is the way to do it. And this will allow you to make these changes. And you may have some other option. Maybe you want to put your sink in the island. You can do that in your dishwasher and totally change things up. Maybe you're removing a window, making a window bigger. You have the options to play with those ideas and be able to really make some good decisions. Now, the other thing this allows you to do is look and see, okay, I have pantry cabinets, drawer banks, narrow cabinets, sink base, drawer banks, more drawer banks. Where are all my things going to go? Where am I going to store things? Where's my Vitamix going to be stored? Do I have a stand mixer? You can start coming up with solutions for these problems as you do this while looking at these different floor plans. Now, if you want to add some extras, you can do that. You can add some plants and flowers and, fill your boots with those kind of things. There you go. Nice flower in there for you. Something simple. But now you have something to look at and be like, no, I don't think I like this change. I'm going to go back to the other one. And you have some information. At least you can see it. You did it yourself. You didn't have to wait for a designer to get back to you. You can kind of sit down some night, have a sip of tea, and just go through this. And it's not really that frustrating of a program to use. It's fairly simple to use. I use it quite quickly because I'm so used to it, but just take your time and go through it, and it's very, very easy. A couple more things to look at. If you hit next steps, you can actually order these cabinets if you want right from them. I don't want to order their kitchens. This is used solely as a tool so that you can find out the proper floor plan, but it will give you all of these floor plans that you can download. A lot of measurements on here. I don't like the fact that there's so many, but at least it gives you a floor plan. And you can look at elevation views. Elevation views are what's really helpful to determining what's going where, because you can see the height of things, where things will be stored, and how you're going to access them. So this is a good tool as well. You can download these, and then you can go in and create your own. We'll go back to kitchen design. You can create images. So you can go in here, you can create a screenshot, and you can save your project. I want you to do that. And then you have the option to kind of move around where you want this to be. Change your location. So this is, I want this picture. I want to show, my brother-in-law or my cousin what my kitchen's going to look like. And you can hit the button there. It'll take that picture for you. I think, yeah, there you go. Your new screenshot is available. So you can go click view. And if you go to view images, there it is. It'll show you that screenshot. And you can download that as well. Or you can literally just take a screenshot from your computer screen from these different angles, which I do all the time. But that'll show you all the different options. Now play around with this. This doesn't give you the full depth of what you can do with this program. There are some other things. You can add cathedral ceilings. You can add some moldings to these cabinets by hitting add molding. You can select the billion different types of crown moldings that you want to use. Very simple to use. I highly recommend that you go and try this out because there's no better way to discover the perfect layout for your kitchen than to actually try and discover the perfect layout for your kitchen by doing it yourself. I usually keep it in either 3D or the floor plan view, but you can also just use this wall view, and you can also just design from this point here. You can change the style of this, the size of this, find the position. So you can design in any different way you want. I prefer just 3D view because this is how you're going to be looking at the kitchen most times anyway. You're going to see it in 3D. You want to visualize it for different parts of the room. You can change the location of this arrow and what's my viewpoint going to be from over here? What's my viewpoint going to be from wherever? Now, also, if you double click this little icon, it'll add a human. So you can go through and, move yourself around here. How am I going to look when I'm standing at attention in my kitchen? Gives you some idea. And then you can have a look around yourself. So this gives you the view that you can actually look through your kitchen, which is kind of cool. And at any time, if you want to change your view height, you click the little button here and you can hit your view height. You can go to the ground. So you want to see what your kitchen looks like if you're a baby. Crawling through your kitchen might be helpful. I don't know. If you have babies, maybe you want to see what's going to be a problem. Are they going to bang their head on? Or if you want to see something really high up top, you hit high. Goes up to your wall cabinets. Maybe you're trying to align something. You want to see where something fits. I like either worktop height. It's nice for a visual. Or, of course, just going to your default. You're like, Mark, I don't know what I'm doing, and this is helpful, but I still don't know if I have a good kitchen or not. I totally understand. So connect with me for a one-on-one consultation. We can go through all the details if you use this or if you didn't. Or if you just want this done for you, I have an online kitchen design solution. It's completely done for you, start to finish, virtual solution. You get high quality 3D renderings, floor plans, elevations, accessory lists, lighting plans. You get one-on-one with my lead designer, Anne-Marie. She's absolutely fabulous, and she'll take you through the design process step by step, spending hours with you to make sure you get this exactly right. So if you just need that kind of help, click the links in the description below to go there. But if you're like, hey, I can tackle this myself, I want to figure out what the best layout is for my kitchen, I want to have fun with this and maybe play around a little. For some people, this is actually fun. Believe it or not. So if that's you, then dive into cabinets.com, use their free tool. I just want to make sure you know that there's solutions out there in case you just are like, I just want this to be done really well.